3 years after our wedding ceremony, my husband and I agreed to finally register our marriage the next day. He readily agreed. The next day, I waited at the marriage registration office all day, but he never showed up. When I got home, he was annoyed. "Where have you been? Why are you back so late? Didn't we agree to get our marriage license today?" I asked. He looked as if he had just remembered, then snapped. "Is a meaningless piece of paper worth all this fuss? Can't you stop being so superficial?" Just then, his white moonlight updated her social media. "Thanks to Ethan for the company. Today was my happiest day." I silently put down my phone and stared at the man I had loved for 7 years. Uncomfortable under my gaze, he retorted, "It was Ava's birthday today. I just went hiking with her. Don't overthink it." I suddenly laughed. Ava, Ethan's white moonlight. In the 3 years since our wedding, I had suggested getting our marriage license countless times. Each time, Ethan would agree, only to disappear the next day. The first time, Ava's faucet broke, and he went to fix it. The second time, she was scared by a mouse, and he went to comfort her. The third time, a movie made her cry, and he went to console her. The fourth time, she was trapped in a cafe by the rain, and he went to pick her up. The fifth time, she got a tiny scratch from a branch, not even a drop of blood, and he rushed to her side. The sixth time, the seventh, there was always an excuse, always a reason to postpone his promise, and every single time, the reason was Ava. I had tried to talk to him about it, but he always grew impatient. "She's all alone in this city. If I don't help her, who will? I was just fixing a faucet. Can't you be more understanding and less petty?" She was scared. "The marriage license can wait. What's the difference when we get it? Can you stop being so unreasonable? If you have nothing to do, find something to do. Stop being so suspicious all the time. You're a housewife. What do you know? Ava is a dance teacher. Do you have any idea how important her legs are to her? Why can't you be more like Ava? Look at her, and then look at you." Thinking back on it all, I suddenly felt tired. The difference between being loved and not being loved was so obvious. It was laughable that I had been deceiving myself for so long. Seeing my silence, Ethan grew a little flustered. "All right, you're tired today. I'll make dinner. You rest. Tomorrow, I promise I'll go with you to get the license," he assured me. It was always like this. A slap, then a piece of candy, a trick that never failed him. I pushed his hand away and took a step back. "No need, Ethan. Let's break up." See, without a marriage certificate, we didn't even need a divorce. A breakup was the most fitting word. Ethan was stunned. It was the first time I had ever said those words to him. In the past, no matter what he did, a simple apology was enough to make me forgive him. "Claire, can you stop being so unreasonable? My law firm is swamped. I'm exhausted every day, and I come home to this." I cut him off. "Well, from now on, you're free. Congratulations, Mr. Lawyer." Ethan knew my temperament. Once I made up my mind, nothing could change it. "We don't have a marriage license, so we're not legally married. There are no property disputes, no children, so no custody issues. Let's just part ways amicably." With that, I walked towards the bedroom. I could pack my things and find a hotel for the night. Ethan stood up and grabbed my arm. "There's really nothing between me and Ava. It was just her birthday, you don't need to tell me. I'm not interested," I said, calmly removing his hand. Seeing the resolve in my eyes, Ethan panicked for the first time. "You want a marriage license, right? Tomorrow. I promise I'll be there. We've had the wedding. Our parents and relatives were all there. What will they think if you do this? If it's just about a marriage license, then there's no need." I smiled. "All right, then. I'll see you at the registration office tomorrow morning. Remember, this is your last chance." He promised again and again that he would be there. I went into the room to pack but found there was little to take. Almost everything in the room belonged to him. Before our wedding, I had a respectable job, but his ill support had made me quit my high-paying career and live off a monthly allowance. Even so, I rarely bought clothes or bags for myself, using what little money I had to buy things for him. His mother often said, "You do nothing all day, just living off my son. You should be grateful for this blessing." The more I looked, the more frustrated I became. I gave up packing, grabbed my phone, and left. The next morning, I was scrolling through my phone in the hotel bed. Unsurprisingly, I saw another one of Ava's posts. "So sick, but with Ethan by my side, it's not so bad." Ethan's call came through. I answered. "Claire, Ava is sick. I'll go to the registration office as soon as I get her settled. Just wait for me a little while." "It's fine. No rush," I replied. "Claire, you're so understanding," he praised. "A rare occurrence." So, The standard for being understanding was based entirely on Ava. I hung up with a smile. I took out my long-neglected makeup and lightly did my eyebrows and eyes. I applied to a few good companies, and within hours, I had an offer. Around noon, Ethan called again. "Claire, I'm still a bit busy here, just wait a little longer." "It's fine, no rush," I said again with a smile. As soon as I hung up, I got a call from a hospital. "Miss Jung, this is the City First People's Hospital. We've reviewed your resume. Are you available for an interview now?" I eagerly accepted. When I arrived, I saw a familiar figure at a window up ahead. It was Ethan with his white moonlight. Their backs were to me, and not wanting to cause a scene, I went straight to the interview. My major was medicine, and even after 3 years away from the operating table, the muscle memory was still there. During the interview, Ethan called again. I hung up without hesitation. The interview was a success. I was to start next Monday, with a goal in sight. My mood lifted. As I turned a corner, a voice behind me stopped me in my tracks. "Miss Jung, long time no see." Ava was smiling, looking nothing like the weak person she had been with Ethan. "I heard you were getting your license with Ethan today." "I'm so sorry, I got sick, and he couldn't go with you. You must have waited a long time at the registration office." I studied the woman Ethan cherished so much and came to a conclusion. Ethan has terrible taste. Her smile didn't waver. "Miss Jung, I know you're upset, but some things are just fated. The more you try to hold on, the faster it slips away. Like sand." I shrugged. "That's why I let go. Let the sand mix with the sewage. Out of my sight." A perfect match. My retort made her face stiffen. "If you have nothing else, please move. I have things to do." As I tried to pass, she grabbed my arm, tears instantly welling in her eyes. "Miss Jung, I know you're angry with me, but I really won't fight you for Ethan. Please forgive me. If you're still angry, you can hit me." I was speechless. A familiar scene. I knew Ethan was somewhere behind me. I had to laugh. The classic setup, right out of a novel. I pulled my hand away, unwilling to play along in this disgusting charade. The moment my hand was free, she fell backward. To an outsider, it would look like I had pushed her. "Claire," an angry voice roared from behind. Ethan threw down the medicine he was holding and rushed over, catching her just before she hit the ground. "Ethan, don't misunderstand. It wasn't Miss Jung who pushed me," Ava said in a panicked voice. A clear case of protesting too much. "I saw it all. And you're still defending her," he said, disappointed. "You're too kind. That's why you always get bullied." I turned to leave. "Stop right there, Claire. If you don't apologize to Ava today, you're not leaving." His voice was filled with anger and a strange disappointment. "Are you so sure I pushed her?" I asked. "I saw it with my own eyes." "You're beyond help now," I sneered. "The eyes are the most deceiving of all. If I hadn't been so blind, I wouldn't have wasted 3 years of my youth on a man like this." "You're a lawyer," I continued before he could erupt. "You of all people should know the importance of evidence. You say I pushed her. What's the reason, the motive, or is it just something you made up?" He had his answers ready. "You waited for me all day and took your anger out on Ava. That's the reason. You were angry that I stood you up again. That's the motive." I had to laugh. I truly had been blind. "Ethan, I suggest you quit the legal profession. Don't bring shame upon it." With that, I turned to leave, but then an idea struck me. I walked back to Ava. "Miss Jung, Ethan was just joking. I'm not mad at you. You don't have to." Her words were cut off as I gave her a real shove. Her back hit the cold floor with a thud. "Remember, that is what it looks like when I push you. If I wanted to push you, he wouldn't have been able to catch you." In medical school, I had worked as a caregiver. I could carry an immobile patient on my own. I was stronger than I looked. One slap from me would have left her face swollen for days. Ava was still in shock as I left the hospital, not even noticing the scrape on her leg. The incident blew up. Calls from my parents and his mother flooded in. His mother: "Do you do nothing but cause trouble for my son? Marrying you was the worst luck of his life. How dare you hit someone in a hospital? Where are your manners? You." I hung up and blocked her. My mother: "Honey, Ethan is a good boy. Why are you two fighting like this? And you haven't even given him a child in 3 years. No wonder his mother picks on you. Was it that I didn't want to have a child?" The truth was, my mother continued to persuade me. "Honey, I've been through this. Just apologize to him. He'll forgive you. Couples fight, but they always make up." "We're not a couple," I said. "We haven't even gotten our marriage license in 3 years." My mother's voice rose an octave. After hearing the whole story, she was furious. "You just wait. Your father and I are coming over right now to back you up. Does he think we're easy to bully? He promised us everything before the wedding, and now this." In getting on the first flight, I finally managed to calm her down. Before hanging up, she said, "Honey, if you're ever in trouble, you have to tell us. We are always here for you." Back in my element, I felt invigorated. Ava, who had planned to be discharged, decided to stay in the hospital after seeing me. She started ordering me around like a maid, and Ethan let her, but I was never one to be pushed around. When she asked for water, I brought her a cup of boiling water and accidentally let it slip, scalding her through the blanket. "Claire, have you had enough?" Ethan yelled, his heart aching for her. "Do you know how important her legs are to her? If you're angry with me, take it out on me. Don't involve innocent people." Wearing my white coat as her attending physician, I looked him in the eye. "So this is what you can't stand. I am a doctor, not a maid. If you try to order me around again, I promise you, it won't be just a leg that gets hurt." I had hidden my claws for him, but I was never a lamb. The next day, a video of a doctor abusing a patient went viral. In the video, Ava was crying, apologizing, but her words were all designed to ruin me. "Miss Jong, I never meant to compete with you for Ethan. I understand your concerns, but I cannot condone your actions. Ethan and I grew up together. If anything were to happen, it would have happened long ago. Ethan is a very responsible man. He only helps me because he pities me. If my disappearance will make you and Ethan reconcile, then I will do as you wish. Thank you, everyone, for your support. I am sincerely apologizing to Miss Jong. Her medical skills are excellent. If you are unwell, please see her." She even revealed which hospital department I worked in. The public, swayed by her innocent act, unleashed a torrent of abuse on me. The hospital, to avoid the scandal, asked me to take a few days off. Ethan called. "Did you see the news?" "Yes," I said. "Thanks to you too. My reputation is in tatters. Claire, you should also post a video and apologize to Ava to quell this storm. Otherwise," I sneered. "Apologize for what? For disturbing your happiness, for occupying your time for 7 years, making your dear Ava waste away. Why are you talking like this now? You weren't like this before. I'm doing this for your own good. The online backlash is intense. Some extremists might even harm you." "You're right," I said thoughtfully. "I should post a video to clarify things." He sounded pleased. I hung up before he could say more. The next day, my video went viral. I had recordings of all of Ava's calls, always interrupting my time with Ethan, always sabotaging our plans to get our marriage license. The evidence was irrefutable. The public, not being fools, saw the truth. The online mob turned on Ava. She was fired from her job, labeled a disgrace to the dance world. The parents who had once trusted her, the students who had admired her, now looked at her with contempt. The harassment forced her to move out of her apartment. That night, she moved into Ethan's villa. Ethan called, but I hung up. I knew he was calling to defend his white moonlight. The scandal grew, and even he was affected. Unable to bear it any longer, he came to my door. "What will it take for you to let her go? Do you know you've ruined an innocent woman's life? Have you no conscience?" he roared, looking at me as if I were his mortal enemy. If I hadn't clarified things, the life that would have been ruined would be mine. "Do you think your dear Ava would have felt a shred of guilt?" I shot back. "Ava is not as malicious as you," he blurted out. So, when I was attacked, it was my own fault, but when the roles were reversed, I was malicious. I had security escort him out and banned him from the premises, but they were like cockroaches, impossible to kill. A month later, they were back. Ethan, to help Ava, had posted a video of his own, claiming I was a lazy, demanding freeloader who was cruel to his mother. He said I was manipulative, that I had been gathering evidence all along just to use against him. "There was never any love between Claire and me," he declared. "It was always an arranged situation. The only person I have ever loved is Ava. She has endured so much, while Claire only grew more demanding. I only regret not being brave enough to speak my heart sooner." Then, his tone shifted from sorrow to joy. "But Ava has accepted my proposal. I hope everyone can be kind. Any fault lies with me. Do not harm an innocent person." He then held up a marriage certificate. The woman in the photo was Ava. The date was a year ago. This move successfully shielded Ava, but put him in the crosshairs. The public was divided. Some praised his great love, while others sympathized with me, cursing them both. That marriage certificate. I remembered the date clearly. It was the day Ava, her stomach still flat, was arrogantly ordering nurses around in my office. I watched her in silence. After a while, she got bored and left. That night, I wrote in my diary, "I am silent not because I am afraid, but because I am waiting for the right moment to strike. And that moment is coming soon." During her pregnancy, Ethan's mother came to taunt me. My son and Ava are a perfect match. It didn't take long for them to bring a new life into our family. Unlike some people, who can't even lay an egg in 3 years, I just smiled and wished them well. Time passed. Ava was 7 months pregnant, her body swollen and heavy. I, on the other hand, was excelling in my field, winning international awards, and gaining the respect of my superiors. The next time Ethan saw me, I was on a stage, presenting my latest research. When I stepped down, I saw something new in his eyes. In our 7 years together, he had only ever shown me contempt and impatience. Now that he had his precious white moonlight, he was discovering she wasn't so special after all. Claire, congratulations, he said, offering me a bouquet. Thank you, I said, politely stepping back. His hand hung in the air, a flicker of embarrassment on his face. Ava saw this and, ignoring the people around her, lunged at me. Claire, how dare you seduce my husband, you shameless. Her behavior was like that of a shrew. Ethan, annoyed, told her to mind her image. To her, this was him defending me. She lunged again, the whispers of the crowd, Ava screaming. Ethan finally snapped. He slapped her hard across the face. Have you made enough of a scene? If you have no shame, I do. Ava was stunned. Before she could react, someone gasped, look, she's bleeding. Ethan panicked. An ambulance was called. Ava had gone into premature labor. The baby was sent to an incubator. Ethan's mother rushed to the hospital and started beating Ava. You useless woman. You couldn't even protect my grandson. If anything happens to him, I'll have your life. Ava, weak as she was, fought back, ramming her head into his mother. If it weren't for your son's slap, this wouldn't have happened. You should be blaming him, not me. There was a sickening crack as his mother's back hit the corner of a table. She collapsed, paralyzed. When Ethan found out, any guilt he had felt for Ava vanished, replaced by pure hatred. 3 months later, the baby was finally out of danger. At the 1-month celebration, Ethan received a paternity test. It showed less than a 1% chance of him being the father. He was not the father. He saw green. In front of all their friends and family, he started beating Ava, screaming, how dare you betray me, you slut. This must be Claire's doing. Don't fall for her tricks. Ava cried. His mother, just recovered, saw the scene, had a heart attack, and collapsed. The party descended into chaos. Ethan and Ava became a pair of bitter enemies. The once cherished white moonlight was now a disgusting mosquito bite. He came to me, his eyes dark with exhaustion, complaining about Ava. After their marriage, he had spoiled her, but she was never satisfied, always finding fault. The cracks in their relationship had grown into a chasm. Claire, I know now how much of a bastard I was. I regret it. I truly do, he said, then asked timidly, can we go back? I said nothing, just handed him a medical report. When he saw what it was, the color drained from his face. What is this? I explained, and his face grew even paler. I then showed him a video. It was of Ava. His expression turned to one of pure hatred. He stormed home. I calmly called the police. The next day, the news broke. Ethan was in jail, and Ava was in the emergency room. The report I had shown him was his own. Over the past year, he had been taking so many drugs that his sperm count was almost zero. The chance of him having a child was less than 1 in 10,000. And the person who had been buying him the drugs was Ava. To spice up their sex life, she had been drugging him, ruining his health. When his attitude towards her grew cold, she had resorted to getting pregnant by another man. She thought her plan was perfect, but a private investigator had been documenting her every move. The police arrived to find Ava in a pool of blood. Ethan had stabbed her over a dozen times. She survived but was left a quadriplegic, conscious but unable to speak or move. I went to see her. Her face was blank, all her former vibrancy gone. She struggled to look at me, but could only move her eyes. I raised her bed for her and sat down. The diagnosis is in. You'll be a vegetable for the rest of your life. A flash of intense hatred crossed her eyes. Not for me, but for Ethan. She tried to speak, but no sound came out. You want me to help you? To have the court sentence him to death? Her eyes blinked furiously. I leaned in and whispered, let me tell you a little secret. I was the one who swapped the drugs you were giving him. That's why he's sterile. Her eyes widened in disbelief. I was the one who showed him the video of you buying the drugs. And I was the one who sent him the paternity test. It was all me. Surprise. You all thought I was simple and easy to bully. But my favorite thing is to deliver the fatal blow when you are at your happiest. Shortly after I left, her ventilator started beeping shrilly. I insisted the doctors do everything to save her. She had to live, half dead, to atone for her sins. Ethan requested to see me. He was a mess, full of regret and remorse. Do you hate me? He finally asked. I used to, I replied. Now, seeing you suffer, I just think you deserve it. Claire, believe it or not, I only realized in the end that it was always you I loved. Ava was just a lingering obsession from my youth. I mistook obsession for love. I don't ask for your forgiveness. I just hope you find someone who will cherish you. What has happened to me is my own doing. As I left the police station, a light rain began to fall. I walked through it, unsure if the water on my face was rain or tears. I touched my flat stomach. There had once been a small life there. The memory came flooding back. It was raining that day, too. I had just left the hospital, having found out I was pregnant. I was so excited to tell Ethan, but a drunk driver crashed into my car. I was trapped, covered in blood. I called Ethan. I'd been in a car accident. I told him. He just laughed. You're such a good driver. How could you be in an accident? Stop joking around. I'm busy. I could hear Ava's voice in the background. Ethan, hurry up. It's our turn. A voice said, sign here, and you'll have the certificate in a minute. When I called back, he hung up. I felt the life draining out of me and called for an ambulance. They tried their best, but the baby was gone. If you had gotten here 1 minute sooner, we could have saved the baby, the doctor said. 1 minute. I went home, covered in blood. Ethan was making sweet tea for Ava. He just frowned. Can't you be more presentable? You're covered in blood. How unlucky. Ava held her nose. So disgusting. This child, never wanted and unexpectedly lost, was remembered only by me. I asked Ethan then, what if I were pregnant? Then get rid of it, he had said without a second thought. My love for him, along with our unborn child, died in that moment. A month later, Ethan was sentenced to 20 years in prison. I took the news to Ava. The hatred in her eyes was almost palpable. I leaned close to her. You used the sacrifice of my child to celebrate your great love. How does it feel to be paralyzed? You shouldn't have targeted my child. That car accident. You planned it, didn't you? Her pupils dilated in terror. She made a gurgling sound. Don't worry, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I wouldn't stoop to such things. Live well, half dead like this. It's the only way to atone for your sins. I gave her one last meaningful look and left.